Welcome in, everyone. I'm Eric, the Clueless Sportz Dad. I'm here with Raider Greg Jansma today, and we're talking about Maxx Crosby getting shipped out. And yes, that's right. I still think he's getting shipped out. Greg is going to come in with his fire. But first, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and leave us a comment letting us know your thoughts. Welcome in, Greg.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. So I'm going to pull up the other photo here I got, and we're going to talk a little bit. Got the schedule here. Got some information as far as trade deadline, how the money situation is going to go as well, as far as Max goes. From what I've seen from up-to-date sources, could be wrong. Money is always a funny, tricky thing in the NFL because all kinds of stuff can happen. Guys get signed, re-signed, trade, all that good stuff. We all know how that goes on. So with that being said, I think, in my honest opinion, now this is not me saying that I want him to be shipped off. This is me saying I think he will be shipped off. And the reason is because the Raiders, for me, are still a team that's up and coming and not solidified themselves yet and won't be by the time they hit this schedule. And it's a pretty rough schedule at the beginning. Looking at the schedule, and we'll break this down before the trade deadline. The trade deadline is November 3rd. It's a Tuesday, I believe. And when I look at the schedule, you've got the Dolphins, which is a winnable game, which I think we come out a win there. It's at home. We go to the Chargers. Technically, it's an at-home game, but I think they're a much better team than we are right at this point, right now, as we speak. Now, things can change between now and the end of training camp, and even by the time that game comes on, but it's yet to be seen. So that's a loss that I think is going to end up happening early in the season. Then we go to the Saints right after that. And that one's kind of a toss-up, but I actually think we come away with a win there. Then we've got KC at home, which they've got our number pretty much the whole time for like ever since Patrick Mahomes has been there, except for last year, but he didn't play. And then we go to the Patriots. We don't know who's coaching, but again, that could be a toss-up game because we beat them last year, and then they went on their little run. So who knows what's going to happen there. I do have Drake May as my top five quarterbacks going into this next season. And yep, I said that. And then you have the Buffalo Bills at home, followed by the Rams at home, which I've got us losing both those games. And then the Jets at the Jets, which I think will beat them because Geno's leading the tank charge for the Jets there. So I think realistically, best case, we come out of that before the trade deadline with like a what? Let's see, one. I've got the Dolphins, the Saints, maybe the Patriots, and the Jets. I've got best case scenario 4-4 going into that trade deadline. Now it could go either way. It's yet, like I said, it's yet to be seen. Training camp and the preseason games are going to show us a lot on who's stepping up, who's stepping forward, who really progresses. Now, the one good thing I see before I get into Max being traded is that I really do love the fact that we actually have an offensive line coach going into this season. So that in itself is going to be a huge improvement. We're going to see a lot of that on the offensive line. And if you ain't going to cut it on the offensive line, you ain't going to be playing. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. There's not going to be sitting around waiting or anything like that, trying to figure out who's going to be where. And there's not going to be any buddy type systems or anything like that in play. And so, but I still think best case scenario, we're 4-4 heading into that trade deadline. If we drop the Patriots, let's say we're 3-5, a team gets desperate out there and comes crawling to us, calling for Maxx Crosby. and just unloads whatever they want on him. First, couple twos, a first and a first, a first and a player. Who knows? Like, we're talking like a playoff team that's like, okay, like kind of like the Rams do all the time when they just say, you know what, here's a first round pick. Here's a couple of them. We don't give a damn about picks. We want the player to come be a demon for us and take us all the way. Money situation wise for the Raiders, from what I've seen on some of the websites, I've seen the dead cap would be about $5 million, but the cap savings would be about $31 million, and then the following year, I think if I'm correct, the dead cap is gone, and the Raiders are going to be barely paying him much because you could always get a redeal from a new team and get rid of that money. Like I said, the money thing is kind of like not an issue when it comes to trading for Maxx. It's more so of when he'll get traded. And I think he'll play almost up until that trade deadline. Now, if we come out the gate and we lose the first 4 or 5 games, people are going to be talking again, like they do every single damn year, about the situation. Now, before I let you dive in, because there's my take on that, okay, I just want to say that I'm hoping that it doesn't happen, but because I love what the Raiders did this offseason as far as what they acquired on defense alone. Just looking at their defense, I still think they need to find that guy opposite of Maxx and maybe another interior D lineman. But they're going to see in training camp, and we're going to really get to see, I think it's August 13th. Yeah, August 13th. I believe that's the Thursday. I believe we play the Cardinals that first game.
Right.
So I am super excited to see how the new defense is going to look. And hopefully they roll out with it. I want to see some 3-4 defensive style stuff from the Raiders. And I hope they bring it this year. Like, I'm tired of the patty cake, sitting back. As a linebacker coach, I loved bringing the heat almost every damn play. Obviously, there's a time and place where you need to drop back, but I like my linebackers coming downhill, exotic blitzes, bring some corner, bring a safety with them, show me something, rolling coverages. I love to see that style of play. That's the old school type Raider way to go about things. Not sitting back playing cover 3 or something stupid like that and just hoping and wishing for a prayer, wishing for a stop, wishing your front 4 gets to the quarterback. I want to see us make things happen, not expect things to happen, so to speak. So my 2 favorite signings as a linebacker coach are obviously Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. And I think they're going to be phenomenal additions to they're both Georgia Bulldogs. They both can play at a high level. They're both still really young. So that bodes well for the anti-Maxx Crosby debate, trading Maxx Crosby, because they're still young. You're bringing in guys behind him that now can actually play some damn linebacker and get after it. I think Kieron Crawford, if Malcolm Kuz can't step up, I think Crawford's going to have a really, really good shot at taking over that other opposite defensive line spot behind Kwity Paye too, because, depending on how they want to come in the NASCAR style packages with the speed rushes, with bumping Kwity Paye inside, then you got Crawford coming from the outside opposite of Maxx. That's going to be phenomenal, I think. And I know one of my favorite people in the draft that I thought was an absolute steal of the draft was Jermod McCoy getting picked up in the 4th round by us. Like, I mean, first round draft, he doesn't get hurt. He's probably top 10 in the draft. And we get him in the 4th round. And we could actually tuck him away. If we really wanted to, we could tuck him away and say, you know what? Maybe you don't play this whole season. Maybe we see how things go. And we see how, the guys that we have actually play. And we just bring you along slowly until your injury, or if you're fully injured, screw it. Let's go. Let's ball out. And then you bring over, you get Johnson from Buffalo in that trade, to play that nickel spot. That brings in some power too. I still think the safety spots need to be a little bit more upgraded, but I do like you've got Dalton Johnson, who's picked up from Arizona in the 5th round. I believe he's from Arizona. You've got our man Stukes, a guy I'm sure you like a lot too, also from Arizona in the 2nd round.
And Taron Johnson they brought in.
Yeah. And I wasn't too huge on Stukes. Like when they drafted him, I was like, who is this? And then you go back and you watch his film and it's like, dude, this guy could play everywhere.
Yep.
He could play corner, nickel, slot, both safeties. Like, you just bring him on a blitz. You drop him back in the middle center field. I'm like, dude, this guy could play everywhere. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I'm sticking to my original statement. Maxx Crosby is going to get traded by the trade deadline. But I don't want it to happen, but I believe he does. All right. Let's hear it, Greg. What you got?
So you think if the Raiders are 4-4, Crosby's getting dealt?
I think if it's if the Raiders are 4-4, but they're showing massive improvement, because you got to look after the trade deadline. You've got San Francisco, Seattle, Broncos. Those 3 teams are really good teams. You got the Browns, and then we finally go into our bye week.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then so later in the season, we get some easier games.
I meant by the trade deadline, not by the bye week. But I mean, okay. So I guess
no. Yeah. If I'm saying if we're 4-4, but we just look like last year, like Dookie, and we ain't playing good at all.
Yeah.
And we're 4-4, and they don't, and we're barely squeaking out any wins and stuff like that. And another team comes along, which I think it will be dictated on if we're like 4-4 or less. And I think another team is going to come crawling for him big time.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I think the whole league is going to want Maxx Crosby because he plays a pivotal position when you're talking about Super Bowl teams, conference winning teams, divisional winning teams. If you're going to be a great team like that, then you need one of 3 positions to be elite. You need your edge guy to be elite. You need your quarterback to be elite, or you need a tackle or 2 to be elite. So, yeah, any team that thinks they're one guy away is going to want Max. And on the one hand, okay, if the Raiders are 2-6 at the trade deadline and some team offers a boatload, then I guess I'd have to bury my face in my hands and just accept that fate. But even if they're playing like crap, even if the defense looks like crap, even if you're winning 1-score games in the NFL, a win is a win. So if they manage to be 500, or if they're a couple plays away from being 500, there's no way I'd trade Maxx Crosby. Aside from the fact that he plays edge, so he has as much effect on the game on the defensive side as anybody. If he was a safety or a linebacker or a running back, okay. I mean, if he was a guard, whatever, I guess. But I think outside of quarterback, your edge guy, your number 1 pass rushing guy, he affects the game to the point where he can ruin the game for the opposing team. If, we've seen it with Max a couple of times. Max is worth probably 2 wins a season all by himself, just wrecking plays and wrecking games. The opposing team needs to know where he's at every single play. And furthermore, you're talking about the Raiders having a young up-and-coming team. Well, what better way to show an example of what a Raider is supposed to be than to have a guy like Maxx Crosby on the team? This is the way you work. This is the way you condition. This is the way you prepare. Play with your hair on fire every single play. Your health be damned. Your contract be damned. Do it anyways. Okay, you're down 20. You're up 20. Max's play never changes, and that, I don't care if you're a fan, you're a teammate, you're on the coaching staff, you're on the training staff, whatever. That is exactly the type of football player you want. So if the Raiders are even sniffing 500, I wouldn't consider trading Maxx unless the trade offer is something like Herschel Walker, the Herschel Walker Vikings Cowboys trade. And we're talking, if you look back in history at that trade, the Cowboys got 3 number ones, 3 number twos, a 3 and like a 6, and 5 other players. And those 5 other players, they either traded them or released them, which in turn got the Dallas Cowboys like, I don't know, another 3 or 4 compensation picks, and they use that to build their dynasty. Then, okay, it makes sense. But aside from that trade, give me another instance where a team traded a great player at a premier position and it worked out for them. Like, if any franchise should understand that this doesn't always work out, it should be the Raiders, because we've already done this. We did it with Khalil Mack, and how did that turn out? I mean, we got Josh Jacobs out of the deal, but last time I checked, we didn't win any Super Bowls. So I'm not moving Maxx.
No. And neither did any team that got Khalil Mack.
No, but he was still a quality player. I mean, yeah, he went to Chicago, and Chicago didn't have the right coaches. They didn't have the right quarterback, but he affected games. And I mean, they are where they are now in part because then they traded Khalil Mack and got compensation, I believe, didn't they? So when you have a great
to the
player,
Chargers, I believe.
Yeah, when you have it might have been a free agent deal, but when you have a great player at a premier position, talking edge, left tackle, quarterback, you don't trade them away and get better. So, I mean, I'm as passionate about this subject as I am. I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down for the sake of YouTube and all the social media is not banning us with all the swear words because I just like Maxx is my favorite player on the Raiders roster, and it's not close.
Absolutely.
And not only because of the position he plays and his attitude but I mean his whole story, his whole backstory. He's one of the last Oakland Raiders, and he's the dude. Just like Maxx, if you can hear me, okay, just go walk in front of the mirror, right? Walk in front of the mirror and look at those dudes you have tattooed on the front of your body, okay? Ali played an individual, he was a boxer, so no teammates. But Kobe and MJ, go back and listen to the things they talked about when they talk about leadership. That's the only thing I would say is lacking from Maxx Crosby's game is the way he leads. Okay, he's a great individual player. I'm not bashing him at all, but there is a part of me that wants to see him just grab his teammates and get pissed and demand better. Like Jordan, the best part of the Last Dance series is when Jordan is talking about leadership and how there's a price to pay. And you got to push guys when they don't want to be pushed. You got to drag them along. You got to elevate them. If Maxx wants to win, then he has to push those guys to get to his level. When he's in the training room at 5 a.m, they should all be right there with him. Everybody on defense should be right there. For as great of a player as Maxx is, he's never played on a unit that's been in the top 5 in the league, maybe not in the top 10 in the league. So that's on Maxx. Like, if you want to be that dude, if you want to be legendary, as it says across your chest, then you got to do that kind of stuff, man. I don't care if it's the punter, if it's the backup tackle, if it's the get back guy on the coaching staff. You got to demand excellence from everybody. And when they don't rise to your level, you got to be, like MJ said, you got to get in their ass a little bit. You got to demand it. You got to be kind of a tyrant. You got to be an asshole about it. And that's the standard. And that's the culture that will pull the Raiders out of, dude, it's been 25 years since they've been in the Super Bowl. We've had one winning season, I think, in the last 24, 25 years. And the only way you fix that is with leadership and guys like Maxx Crosby just saying, enough of this shit. Like, we're going to go fucking kick some ass. And trading him away doesn't make you a better team. So that's my take on it. I want more from Max. I want more from the organization. And us as Raider fans, like, we've been patient enough. So it's time to win some fucking ball games, boys.
Yeah, the Raiders actually had two winning seasons. I don't count 8-8 as a winning season, even though they count that. 2016, the one where Derek got hurt.
Mhm.
They went 12-4, and then in 2021, when Rick Bisaccia took over, they went 10-7 that year.
Yep.
So, and I agree on a lot of the aspects. The problem is that a lot of players, and Max has done an amazing job at this, and it's probably one thing that you kind of want to criticize people for, but you kind of can't, because it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about you as a player. Is a lot of people are more worried about branding and stuff like that, and so they do things outside of football that they work on trying to brand themselves. Like, he's doing this new rap thing now, kind of like Darren Waller was doing, which is fine. Like, I don't care if you were some scrub like player, that's one thing, but when you show up in practice as hard as Max does, it's it's, you can't fault him. Like, do whatever you want. But like you're saying, I agree a little bit with the whole getting on those players' asses, basically, and saying, look, man, like, you gotta, let's go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, I grew up.
you see it in spurts, but it's like, come on, man, we need it all day long. Like,
Yep.
and
Yep.
the Raiders don't have, unfortunately, we live in a day and age where athletes are kind of spoiled when it comes to this kind of stuff, where if you don't like where you're at, they'll request a trade or they'll go somewhere else. Like you see in basketball, you see in baseball. I mean, you see it in football. Like, oh, I don't want to be here. I'd rather go win. So I'm going to leave the team I'm on now, that's trash, and I'm going to go play for another team that's loaded already with players and try to get my ring. But Max, to me, Max is different. He's been like, dude, I want to be a Raider all the time. This last year was the first time, this last offseason was the first time I was like, wow, like, I think Max is finally done with the Raiders. And we saw with Khalil Mack, it seemed like, I thought Khalil Mack was going to be a Raider forever too. But then the whole not wanting to call, not wanting to talk to Gruden, and like that whole, like, I still don't know the full story on that whole mess. I think it was just a huge mess from the jump. And so the Raiders tried to get whatever they could. They got a ton for him. And the Bears did trade Mack for a second-round pick and I believe it was a 6th-round pick to the Chargers. So they didn't even get anything in return that was even close to what the Raiders got. But
Right.
I think
we screwed all them draft picks up. So
exactly. Well, we screwed. Yeah, we. I mean,
well,
Josh
not only
Jacobs.
that, you screwed the draft picks up, but then you didn't have a pass rusher, so Gruden wanted to reach for a pass rusher in the following year's draft and took Khalil Mack or Cleveland Farrell. I mean, that didn't work out either. Like Tyree Wilson, what I'm talking about with Max and leadership, Tyree Wilson was a perfect example. That dude underachieved every single game of his career. Did he ever even have a game where you could look at and be like, that was the best game that guy ever played? Like, Max should have been up that guy's ass from day one. Just get off the line of scrimmage. Where's all this immense talent? Yeah, like, he has it in him. He can play. he never showed it on Sunday. And I never saw Maxx do anything but pat him on the butt. Like, yeah, that's kind of the coach's job, but at the same time, if you're going to be an elite, legendary player, then you got to get up his ass a little bit and demand better. Just like when you go back and you watch those Kobe Laker teams post Shaq, he was always yelling at Pau Gasol. He was always yelling at the other players on the team. Jordan was always yelling at other players on the team, demanding everybody play better. That's what Maxx has got to do. He's got to elevate everybody else's game for him to get to where he wants to go. And Kobe is the one that said it. Maxx, just go look in the mirror. Kobe's tatted on your body. He's the one that said, if you want to celebrate championships with your teammates, then, the other hand of it is also you gotta wallow in the failures too. And you gotta bring everybody together, whether you're winning or you're losing. Either way, it's a team sport. You guys are in it together. You're in the shit together. Just like the Marines, man. I mean, you don't abandon anybody.
Yeah.
You don't just go, oh, LeBron, like, oh man, this shit in Cleveland's hard. I can't get over the hump. I'm out of here. I'm going to Miami. Like, that alone, in my mind, will never put him on the same level as Michael Jordan, because Jordan didn't the Pistons are pretty tough. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go play for somebody that can beat the Pistons. He never did that. Come on, man. You wouldn't tattoo those guys on your body if you didn't believe in it. Right next to the Raiders shield that's on his arm, right? So, I want more out of Maxx. And if Maxx Crosby's playing to his full potential and elevating everybody else around him, the Raiders aren't going to be 500 at the trade deadline. They're going to be 6-2. And then this is a moot point. We're talking about nothing.
Yeah, and hopefully that's true. Hopefully we don't end up talking about nothing. I agree with you. But again,
Yep.
I stand by what I said. I still think by that trade deadline, Maxx will be in another jersey, and it's going to be painful for some of the Raiders fans out there, because they're going to be like, oh, this is worse than with the Khalil Mack situation, stuff like that. I mean, we didn't even talk about Amari Cooper, which, dude, never looked like he ever wanted to play football.
Yeah.
Got his money, and then that was it in the NFL. Now he's,
I mean,
he showed up, saw how bad Geno was, and was like, I'm out.
Yeah, he had some solid years with Dallas, but there was long stretches when he was with the Raiders too, where he kind of disappeared. It is kind of the same thing I'm talking about. He was never like I don't know, Jerry Rice, where if he wasn't getting the ball, or Randy Moss, when he wasn't getting the ball, he's letting people know about it, because those guys know that if they get the ball, the team wins. Well, Amari Cooper was just kind of out there. He was running routes, and whether he was getting open or there was a double team over him, he's just kind of out there running around, I mean, well, kind of whatever. Just like when he came back, he ran around at training camp a little bit and then was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to retire. Fuck it. Good riddance.
Yeah. So I think with the Raiders being young, talented, here's another thing too, to just throw this little speckle of dust on this whole situation too. Raiders right now have only all their picks in the first 6 rounds. So they have their picks all the way 1 through 6. The 7th round pick that they had, they traded to Buffalo in the trade deal, I believe it was. Or it might have been a trade deal this year during the draft or something like that.
Mhm.
So Spytek likes picks. He likes building his roster from the draft. And then building up his guys from within the organization, which I think is something the Raiders have not really ever been able to accomplish. I mean, you look back on the old Al Davis ways, and it was mostly free agency, trades, acquiring big-time players from other teams to come in. And I think we are at a huge turning point right now in the Raiders organization. And Raiders fans need to be prepared to be as patient as possible, Whether we lose every single game this year or not, they still have to look at it as, okay, we've got our franchise future quarterback. We've got a star at running back who's a young stud in Ashton Genty. We've got Brock Bowers, who's going to need to get paid either this year or next year, I believe. They need to wrap him up and keep him in a Raider jersey forever. You still got Michael Mayer, too, the other tight end, who could also, to throw a little nugget in there, could also be on the move at the trade before the trade deadline, just depending on how things go.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they were talking about him last year too. So you've got a young center to build around. You've got some other pieces. The biggest area, I think, out of the whole entire team that really needs to show us something is wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of got like this, my wife likes to say the word hodgepodge. You've got this like hodgepodge mix of guys that are just like what do they do? Like, who's the number one? Right now it's Trey Tucker. Is he really the number one? Like, then you got Jack Besh, who didn't get used enough last year.
Yep.
Who I know I like a lot. Then you've got Thornton, who can just take the top off, big, tall receiver that can run like the wind. Benson's the guy from Oregon, I believe, we got in the 6th round. That everybody's raving about. Yeah, can fly. Everybody's raving about him. Another dude I just cannot. I just put him on my whiteboard like this is another dude I can't wait to see in preseason football. Like, I just can't. I don't care who's throwing to him. I don't care when he comes in. I want to see that. Naylor, too, is another guy like we got from the Minnesota Vikings. Let's see. I wanted to check him real quick. He's 20. Yeah, he just turned 27, so he still got plenty of mileage left on him.
Yep.
But I mean, he might be. Yeah, he's Trey Tucker's 25, just turned 25. I mean, you got so many young dudes. Philip Dorsett, he's the old man in the room, 33 years old, which he probably won't make it on the roster. You got Jackson, Shedrick Jackson. The one thing about Jackson last year in the preseason, I always go back to the preseason games. He made quite a bit of plays, and then I think they put him on practice squad, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then they brought him in, I think, late in the season, too.
Yep. I think one thing, too, you can't discredit is Tom Brady's making a lot of the calls here, or at least he has a lot of influence. I mean, obviously that him and Spytek are conjoined, obviously probably conversing daily or what have you. And look where Tom Brady played his career, the majority of his career anyway, in New England, right? They weren't afraid to move off of a big name player, whether it was Ty Law or Lawyer Malloy or Richard Seymour. I mean, you go down the list of great players, perennial Pro Bowl players that they would move off of a year early as opposed to a year late. So that's another feather in the cap for go ahead and move Maxx Crosby. But I guess my argument to that would be if you were to trade Maxx Crosby and let's just say you get 2 firsts back, I mean, one of those picks, if not the Raiders' top pick, because if they're trading Max, they're probably having a bad season. Like the next draft pick, you're looking at one of 2 positions, either edge rusher or wide receiver. So why start over with a super young guy that you don't know what he may or may not be, as opposed to when you have an all-pro guy who bleeds silver and black already? So, I don't know. Do you trade Max away with the attempt to get Jeremiah Smith next year? I mean, I guess that could make sense, but still an unknown.
So, okay. Yeah, and so I will say this, and I am in no way, and I want Raider Nation, I'm looking at you, Raider Nation. I want it to be known. I am not saying these 2 guys are anything close to Maxx Crosby. But Maxx Crosby was, what, a 4th round pick? Nobody knew him. Really? Nobody knew him. Yeah, 4th round pick in 2019. Nobody knew him. He sat behind some dudes. Skinny guy. Nobody knew exactly. I mean, I think besides Gruden, John Gruden's the only one that knew he had that motor.
I think it's more Mayock than it was Gruden, but okay.
Could be. You could be right. That's one thing I like about. That's the one thing I did like about Mike Mayock. He had some good evaluation when he wasn't the Raiders GM. But anyway, but I'm no way, shape, or form saying that these two guys. But I would love it if one of these dudes stepped up. And they say Sloan is a guy that has that Maxx motor. And then I hope Crawford turns into somebody that's also like that. Because somebody's got to correct me. Somebody in the comments, let me know. I can't remember who was the Auburn defensive end that they were looking at that went high in the draft.
Oh,
And then every time they turned on the tape to see him, they saw Crawford.
yeah, I know
like,
who you're
who's this
talking
20
about. I can't remember his name because I didn't like him. I didn't like him.
This is gonna bug me, so I'm definitely gonna have to
Look her up.
Auburn
Yep.
and
While you're doing that,
Falk.
Crawford, I love that dude because Falk. Yep, Falk.
Kendrick Falk. Okay.
I really like Crawford.
Tennessee Titans got him.
Yeah, I don't think he can play. But regardless, I really like Crawford just because of his explosiveness, his first step. And then when you listen to him talk, he talks like I want a defensive lineman to talk. Like if you go on YouTube and you find those the first call, like when the GM is calling him, like he got emotional later on, but at first he's jacked up. He's excited. He's jumping in the pool. He's celebrating with everybody. Like that's what I want my defensive linemen to do. Like just ready to run through a wall because their adrenaline's pumping. And also, okay, Maxx is a 4th round pick. Again, just another feather in the cap to keep him on the team because you can put him up on a pedestal and say, look, guy coming out of Eastern Michigan, nobody knew who he was. He had issues off the field. Look what he's turned into now. All he did was put his nose down and go to work. So the only thing standing between any other player and superstardom is you. So put in the work, just like Maxx is every single day. Get your ass in here. Beat Maxx in here. Stay longer than him. Work harder than him. Have a better attitude. Like try to outdo him, and you'll get paid just like Maxx has the last couple off seasons. I do kind of feel like some of the trade speculation might just be coming out of Max's, agents in an effort to always get him another contract and the new contract and the new contract. That's kind of a game a lot of agents play all the time too. But that's.
I'm going to share this with you. This is the guy that's undrafted that they signed. Sloan, another white dude, outside linebacker, North Carolina State, 6'3", listed at 239. He's probably going to be heavier than that. But they say this dude's motor is off the charts, man.
Well,
and you see it on his film.
Tattoos if he's going to play next to Maxx. So.
Oh man, that's amazing. So again, I'm saying that I believe that Maxx is going to get traded. It's just a matter of when. And I hope this is one of those takes. I hope I'm super dead wrong and you come on here and just crush me later about it. We're what'd I say? What was the trade deadline? How many games? 8 games? Is that what I said? Yep. I can't even remember. Let me pull that back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Screw it. We're going 8-0. Maxx is staying on the team. We're just going to start. We're going to come out and crush everybody.
Yep.
Rob is DC. Our DC, Rob, is going to have those linebackers blitzing, getting after it, bringing some guys like Stukes from the back end too, and some other dudes to get in there and rush the passer, help put some pressure on them, because you know Al Davis's famous saying, the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Right.
Wow.
Right. That's the thing with this,
All right, Greg.
this program, too. I mean, Maxx is going to play on either side in this 3-4. They're going to move him to where he has the best advantage, just like the Steelers do with TJ Watt. So let's go, Maxx. I need 20 sacks this year. None of this 10, 12 and a half bullshit. We need 20. I want 20 sacks.
Yeah. And you know, one last nugget, if they take Maxx off the field more, you know, and they mix it up a little bit more, and they got Quiddy Pay out there and Crawford out there, bring in Sloan or somebody else and mix it up, give them a little bit of freshness. You know, you could bring Maxx off, throw Crawford out there, blitz on that play on that side to bring pressure still, and then all of a sudden you throw Maxx back out there. Because look at, like, Maxx plays the most plays at any defensive end in the seasons, percentage-wise and snaps and stuff like that, but yet he's still not number one in sacks. He's still not up there with Myles Garrett. Like, it's time for Raiders to manage that.
He's got a ton of tackles for loss. I mean, he's one of the top guys in that every single year. But, yeah, no, I've been saying that for years. Like, I get he never wants to come off the field and feels like when he comes off the field, something bad is going to happen. But at the same time, that's what I'm talking about, elevating your teammates. You got to be their biggest cheerleader. Go get a Gatorade, go get a drink of water, catch your wind, and then on 3rd and 6, you're at 100%. I mean, that's going to benefit him, I think, more than he would even like to admit. But, you know, what do I know? It's just what everybody else in the league does. So I would rather not run him into the ground. Like, let's keep him fresh all year. So
go grab the tablet and find out what's going on that series. Then you go back in with a plan like, oh, this tackle's doing this, or I might be able to slip under the tackle because the guard's constantly doing this series. Somebody's got a game plan. That's what the coaches' jobs are on the sideline. Like, they have those assistant coaches with the tablets. When I was a linebacker coach, I had a tablet. I had all the plays instantly right to me. I would have a rotation with my linebackers. I would pull, if I saw something, I'm pulling my best linebacker off sometimes. Hey, come off from one play. Cool. Get him some water. Look, check this play out. This is what these guys are doing. Now go back in there and kick some ass. Like, I mean, let's go. Don't wait until the series is over and they've already scored a touchdown on you. And then you go back out there and the next series is completely different.
Yep. Yeah, good coaching staffs they're not making adjustments half to half. They're making adjustments possession to possession, if not series to series. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. So, yeah, Maxx, grab a drink of water once in a while on 2nd down. It'll be fine.
Go play corner. Give Stokes a break real quick. Go play corner sometimes. No, one thing I want to say too is, like, I never understand this about NFL teams, and they still constantly do this. Why do you run a jet sweep to Maxx's side? Have you not learned that? It don't matter. I've seen him break triple teams and still smash your wide receiver in the backfield for a loss.
Yep.
Like, what are you guys doing?
Yep.
A tight end two tight ends can't block Maxx Crosby, let alone a tight end, a tackle, and another tight end.
Yep.
So
yeah.
he sees that a mile away. He knows what you're doing.
Yep.
So
that's part of taking him off the field too. Like, if he's on and off the field, then it's like, you know, an unaware quarterback isn't noticing him coming and going. Maybe he slips through, you know, an ID on a coverage and he gets a gimme here or there. But yeah, man, don't trade Maxx. That's what I got to say. Otherwise, I'll be mad.
Don't trade him.
Don't trade him. Don't do it.
Don't trade him, or I'll be upset. All right, brother. Well, thanks for coming in, Greg. Another one in the books. All right, Raider Nation, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. I'm Eric, the Clueless Sportz Dad. Raider Greg, thanks for tuning in, man.
See ya.
Till next time.